Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you all are having a beautiful day so far. I am going to invite my special guest today, and it'll just give me one moment. Request. I hope you all are having a great day as always. I hope you're being positive and happy and motivated. Hey, CL. Hey, Tiffany. Hope you all are doing great. I'm just waiting for my special guest to come on, and we'll get started in a bit. Oh, I see she's joined. Yay. Okay, so let's just figure out how to do this. Send the request. Hopefully it works. So just some fun things that are going on. Hi, Tiffany. Fun things that are going on while we wait for Kari in the Live Long and Plant world. So I have no markets this weekend, thank goodness. I took a weekend off because I think my body and my brain was telling me that I need to not do anything. The next weekend though, I believe I'll be in White Center. And then the following weekend, I'll be in Bend, Oregon. So just taking a few weekends off here and there. It looks like we are having some technical difficulties on, sorry, yeah. I'm just laughing at Tiffany's comment. Oh, yay! Hi!
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you too.
How's everything going?
So far so good.
Good.
I just got back from my sister's wedding out in Minnesota, so I'm just kind of catching up.
I'm sure, like, after getting, I think that we had talked about something similar in our chat tea time
Yes.
about prepping for vacation time, and how it can be a little stressful. So, how was the weekend though, or your PTO?
It was really good. It was really good. Yeah, we had a really nice time, and we were able to well, we were all three of us, my sister and myself and my husband, relaxed quite a bit on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and had a great time. Very low key, and yet, doing some fun things. We went to the beach. We had some marshmallows. We went to a high tea and had a tea time, which was lovely.
What? Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
You have to tell Freya about that.
Yes, I will definitely tell Frey about that. But yeah, we kept it fairly low key, at least until, up until the wedding. And then of course, Friday was get the last couple things prepared, and the wedding was on Saturday, and then we had the brunch on Sunday the next morning, and then we relaxed and got ready to go. And I kind of felt like Monday, I was like, okay, now let me look at all my emails and figure all the stuff out. I had been looking a little bit here and there, but you know how it goes. But yes, so it was really lovely. We traveled to Minnesota, where the wedding was, and
Awesome.
it was good.
Before we start, I had to set my intention for today. So CL, I hope you see this, but it says make shit happen, because I think that's how I need to think about today, because there's just a lot going on. So anyways, to start off, hi everyone for joining. Welcome to Live Long and Plants, the Planty of Friends podcast. I'm so excited today to have my special friend Kari from Puddles Barkery here. She and I have known each other for a little over a year now, I want to say. And yes, see all your candle, make sure it happen. And she's just wonderful. I'm so excited for you to be here. So welcome, Kari.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay. So Kari, I know that you have some people, your followers on here as well, on mine, but why don't you just tell me a little bit about, your company, Puddles Barkery? I want to start there, and then we'll kind of dive into everything else.
Certainly. So I actually started Puddles, and actually today is a great day to do this, because today is Cora's Gotcha Day. We have had her for 8 years now. She's such a sweet girl. But actually, yeah, so I started Puddles because I wanted to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I wasn't enjoying the property management gig that I was doing. I'm still doing that a little bit, but not nearly as much. And it just wasn't for me. Like, there were people who were very, passionate and whatnot about property management. I'm like, meh, I don't know, not for me. I did some Yeah, so I was kind of like, well, what could I do? Like, what am I good at? And so I do enjoy cooking and baking. Oh, hi. Thank you. Um, and I do enjoy cooking and baking and that sort of things, and I'm good at it. I do pretty well, and now that it's been so many years, like I've just gotten used to the whole rhythm of rolling and cutting and rolling and cutting, and it takes a long time. I actually did have a baking day yesterday, so a good 8 hours of in the bakery. And but yeah, anyway, so I was trying to figure out my strengths. Also fell head over heels for Cora once we got her. So I had never had a dog before, so Cora's actually my very first dog.
Oh,
I had known dogs and I liked them, and my cousins actually had Huskies, and so I knew that I enjoyed them and their personality. I didn't know how much personality exactly they had, but Cora's well worth it. She does have a lot of personality. Um, but yeah, so I thought, well, what could I do? Like, could I make dog treats? Like, she's very picky, so she doesn't like the hard, crunchy treats, and that's why I do the soft treats. And also, like, I mean, cakes for dogs. Who wouldn't want a cake for your dog? And I had in college, I had traveled abroad and gone to Italy, so I was like, oh, cannoli are awesome, maybe something like that, and cupcakes and cakes that kind of go together too. But anyway, like that's kind of how it got started. It was really because of Cora and her being a very good taste tester. Like I was pretty confident on my products, and that dogs would like them. And then I got to choose the ingredients. I wanted to make more healthy. I mean, they're still treats, but healthier treats. And at the time, this was 7 years ago. The dog market wasn't quite as saturated as it might be now. So I wasn't necessarily a before my time, but with Seattle having a lot of dogs, and it's really just kind of a good place for that. And plus there's so many, it took a while to find them all, but there's so many events for rescues and dog events in general, that it was a good place to start. And it took me a while to find some other common folks like yourself. I mean, came little bit later, but I did find some people, Lauren with All Dog Kind, and Whitney with Frolic, who really kind of helped be a actually the very first one was Marika with Dirty Dog Photography. So I actually met Marika, and she was like, we should have coffee. I was like, okay, wow, let's do that. And then finally I had some support network, which was great, and just kind of grew from there. And now I have a Beyond Dog Vendors support group, business owners, yourself included, and Freya. And it's more fun once you have those support units and everything. Yes, I agree. I love All Dog Kind.
I love,
Um,
yeah, no, she's
yeah,
great. Her bandanas are the cutest. And the hat. Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah,
hat's freaking cute.
yeah.
But that was a lot to unload.
It was.
I no, but I think it's great. I think that it gives everyone kind of a brief overview of, what Puddles Barkery is, how it got started. I want to kind of dive into, how it got started. So you were doing property management at the time. And it wasn't sparking joy, I want to
Yeah.
say. And so you kind of pivoted towards, okay, let's start my own company.
Mhm.
What's out there? Cora is, it was a big influence, it sounds like, of starting a company. And I think that all companies, it starts from some kind of idea or like a problem that we have that we
Mhm.
haven't found a solution for ourselves or for our dogs, our loved ones. And so it's like, how can we tweak that problem and then find a great solution, not only for ourselves, but for other people who probably are experiencing the same thing. Does that sound pretty much aligned? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like it in a nutshell. Yeah, well, there was a problem. We didn't couldn't we're having hard times because we were doing the bark box, and we were still having a hard time finding treats that Cora would like and then continue to like.
Mhm.
And since she is more adventure motivated than food motivated, we had to find some high value treats that she would come back to.
Yeah.
Like if for whatever reason, she got out or escaped or got away from us, like we had to have something because we live in Seattle, and there are cars and there are busy streets. And in order to keep her safe, we wanted to make sure that she would listen to us or feel inclined to listen to us.
Nice.
Because Huskies will obey when they see the benefit in it for them. They're very good at obeying. They just don't always choose to obey.
Definitely. I've never had a husky. I know I've had friends who've had huskies, but it's funny how all different dogs types have different personalities and like quirks about them, and so that's really interesting to know about huskies. I don't know if I'll ever get one because the fur, like the shedding, I can't deal with that.
Yeah. I did actually,
Oh, I think you're on.
I don't know, you can,
Okay.
yep, sorry, I had a incoming
Oh,
call. But yeah, I
but
have,
fine.
nice fluff that just kind of hang out. I don't know, I got used to it very quickly. I didn't think I would like the hair either, but like, I mean, her hair is just so different. It's just like it doesn't necessarily sometimes it clumps out and sometimes it's just always kind of around. And after brushing her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much on me, and I really see it then. But usually, like, I don't know, I call it her confetti. It's just some husky confetti, and I always just have a little bit of husky confetti on me. So I don't know. I've gotten used to it.
I love that. Laura said that the sass of the husky is just
Yes.
laughing in my face. When it came to taste testing, then, like, what were some of the first type of ingredients or foods that you worked with Cora on that helped you create
Yes.
line?
Well, actually, so a good example is the bacon bites. First of all, I found a recipe online that actually had cornmeal in it as one of the ingredients. As you know now, I do not use cornmeal in my treats. But what the cornmeal did was just create texture. There actually wasn't much in it, and it wasn't really the only purpose of it was for the texture of it, and it was a really great texture. But I got people being like, oh, but I don't feed corn to my dog. I'm like, I get it, it's just a filler, but it also does create something good. So I actually tried a bunch of things. Well, maybe not that many for that one. I don't think I chose as many. I might have. I think I tried some chia seeds, which Cora hated. I also tried, she just put up her nose and she was like, no, I'm not going to eat. I'm like, okay. And then I also tried the pumpkin seeds, chopped up pumpkin seeds, which also created some of that hard, the hard ingredient to kind of make that texture, the similar texture, but was much more health beneficial because they're good for their skin and coat, and also a low fat protein. So it was really just like I knew, I found some different recipes online that were dog recipes. And then I kind of just played with the ingredients. So, no oils. I use the unsweetened applesauce for all the treats. So I just substituted that. And also, like with the cupcakes, with carrots, I don't know if you know this, but carrots will oxidize and turn green when you mix it with wheat flour.
I did not.
Yes. So even though they looked very pretty the very first day, after a couple of days, they would actually turn green, and they weren't bad. It was just that the carrots oxidized with the wheat flour, which is why which is another reason why I chose the rice flour, is so they would also look prettier and stay pretty, but also because, then I got to have a gluten-free option too. So like there was multiple reasons for trying multiple different ingredients.
Yeah.
But I did, initially I did a lot of research finding out what ingredients were healthy. Like I looked up what vegetables and what fruits were really health beneficial, and I'd really like to do something with melons, like watermelon and cantaloupe sometime, because those are really great. Oh, good. Colby asked to pick up a cannoli.
Yay.
Love that. I love that. Well, and actually, here's another good example. So the cannoli, because I wanted to do a frosting, and most frostings are made with sugar, and sugar is not good for both humans and dogs, but even worse for dogs. I chose to do a cream cheese, peanut butter, and chicken broth frosting, and so it's softer, but it still makes, like, there's still that there. And then also, as you know, Dairy should be in moderation for both humans and dogs.
Hmm.
So the other thing is, I in the shell, for texture and health benefits, I actually put ground flaxseed in there as well. And then I make the shell brown with the carob powder, and carob powder is an antioxidant. So basically, I just did a bunch of research on ingredients, what was healthy for dogs, what was helpful for dogs.
Hmm.
Apples are really great for dogs, just not the seeds in the middle.
Hmm.
So the applesauce is perfect for that. So yeah, I mean, I even have a whole list of, like, as I was getting started, I made a list of why was this beneficial for dogs, or what did this ingredients do for dogs,
Hmm.
just so that I was on the right track. So again, they are treats, and treats are calories,
Yeah.
and we don't want our dogs to get fat, but we also want our dogs to have different experiences, different ingredients, encounter different things,
Hmm.
so that they can stay healthy and not develop allergies and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And so I made the healthiest treats that I could, and made them fun. And I mean, the fun was part of it too.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of investigating and
Mm-hmm. Lots of research.
how long did it take you to, like, say for like the bacon bites, how long did it
Mhm.
actually take you to figure out the recipe?
Um, yeah, that's a great question. Actually, so fun fact is, I actually started researching the business and how to do things in January and February of 2014. I
Okay.
didn't actually register the business until I found the name in July of 2014.
Okay.
And then one of the behind the scenes things that you have to do is you have to register all the treats before you can sell them, in any state, but register them with Washington State, which means I had to get the guaranteed analysis done, which costs money,
Ah,
and a bunch of that stuff. So I actually didn't start selling until about a year after I had started doing all the research and really, like, focusing on it. So in
wow.
February of 2015 is when I started selling the treats. And at that time, I had the bacon bites, which the recipe changed later after
Mhm.
I, maybe about a year later is kind of when I really invested a lot of time to do that, to get rid of the cornmeal.
Yeah.
'Cause it did have, I mean, it had a purpose, but it was a filler, so it wasn't great. I
Mhm.
mean, it wasn't going to hurt them, but it was a filler.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of like how, some dry foods that have more sugars and things in them, your dog will actually poop more when they're on the bad food than when they're on the food they can digest more.
Okay.
So, because so when we got Cora, she was 6 months old, and they had her on Beneful, which actually has, and maybe they've changed their recipes for, you know, who knows.
Yeah.
Anyway, her poops were much bigger, and then when we changed her diet, or changed her wet dry food, they became much smaller. So she doesn't actually have that. For being a 60-pound dog, her number twos are not that big.
Eh, okay, I should do like a experiment with Ginger then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she can.
mean, you have to be careful, because when you switch the dry food, you have to do the whole, like, week process of, like, combining and all the things, so that their tummies don't get upset.
Okay.
Um, so, like, yeah, I think it's usually about a week, but basically what you'll do is you'll do most of the regular food that you're doing right now, and then add, like, a quarter of the new stuff, and then switch it to a half a day or two later, and then switch it to three-fourths. I mean, you can do it as long as you want, but, like, at least a week is a good idea to, like, slowly switch over to the new food.
Hmm. Interesting.
Um, yeah, because that
Okay.
does help too. But
Yes. Have you thought of like creating actual dog food in the
no.
future?
It's a lot of work. Like, let me be honest here. I think if I'm gonna stick with treats, because I've gotten good at that. I have 5 main recipes. I need to make more. I need to create some more coming up here. But no, food is a whole nother ballgame. Like, you really, like, treats are supplemental. So while I do have health beneficial things in it, they're not a complete diet. So you don't want to just give them my treats.
Yeah.
But, like, that's a whole nother animal.
Mm.
That's a whole nother animal. And being realistic is, I wouldn't be able to do that unless I switched my thing completely.
I think that totally makes sense, and I appreciate your candor there, because like it would be kind of the next thought, I guess, is like a
Hmm.
business evolution, but understanding that there's so many complexities involved in just the treats themselves, and then diving into dog food or pet food is just a whole other endeavor. So no, I appreciate that. I also wondered, can humans eat your treats? Like if they
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, my treats are all human grade, and actually, I have tasted everything except for the cannoli frosting. And the only reason I haven't done that is I'm afraid that I would get a taste aversion to cheesecake because I love cheesecake, and I have a taste aversion to carob powder things,
Huh.
or taste aversion is a strong word. Basically, I had these energy, little treat thingies that had carob powder instead of chocolate in it, and I'm like, this tastes like a dog treat because I've tasted the cannoli shell, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Mm-mm. Nope.
Huh. Ah,
um, yeah, but I've the Milo and Oats, which is the molasses oats and peanut butter ones, is quite tasty. It kind of just tastes like a lightly sweetened energy bar, and it
okay.
basically kind of is. And then the bacon bites, I've been told, like if I put some salt in there and just kind of, maybe did a little bit different, it would be really quite good.
That's awesome. So like they're kind of dual purpose. So if
Yeah,
you're and you run out of energy bars, hey, just eat one of the
just
treats.
eat the dog treats. They're not,
It's human.
yeah, it's gonna be great.
That's
Um,
I the one thing I really appreciate from your line is your the cakes, the dog cakes, because I got one for Ginger, and let me tell you, she ate that all night. Like she like would not stop licking it, and then when we tried to take it away, she got mad, so then we just let her eat the whole thing. But it is the cutest thing, and I appreciate you like also being able to deliver to certain places. Like
mhm.
for example, I think we got ours at Good, picked it up at Good Dog, but
Yeah.
then we were also introduced to like boarding and daycare. And so
Mhm.
I love that you're able to integrate yourself in other businesses that are along the lines of like dogs or animals.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was actually with finding the retailers. My very first retailer, actually, they reached out to me.
Ah,
So Giggle Chops Dog Wash in Magnolia is yeah, I love all the dog names. Like we have the best names. Giggle Chops. And then Pickles Playland. All these, like we have the most fun names.
yeah.
Um, but anyway, they actually reached out to me. I forget exactly what I was doing. I was doing something aligned with the rescue and other sort of things. But their business model is that they actually hire folks with disabilities, whether that be autism or other sorts of physical or mental disabilities,
Hmm.
so that they can have quality workplaces. And so they have, with the dog wash, because it's a self wash, or that you can also have them wash them too. I
Hmm.
think certain sort of things. They did a couple different things during the pandemic,
Okay.
but really it was a self service dog wash, and they were able to create routines for those who needed the routines to
Hmm.
be good employees and to enjoy their job and that sort of thing. And so they reached out to me because they're like, well, it looks like you have, well, first of all, you're local. And it also looks like you have very similar values to us, like
Hmm.
giving back and, doing what we can for our community. And so they reached out to me saying, hey, we might want to carry your treats. So they carry the single cannoli and single cupcakes and little packages of our bacon bites and Milo notes. So none of the full size things, but they carry little things that you can get after your wash.
Yeah.
And then, going along those lines, it was really just reaching out to different businesses and saying, hey, like I know, like, so you're a pickup location, so you don't actually get paid or get any part of the profits when someone orders online, but I want to send people to you so that you can get some foot traffic and people will know you exist, and then
Yeah.
they can frequent your business as well as get my treats from you. So
Interesting. Okay, I like that. It's kind of
mhm.
like a mutual dual relationship.
Yeah.
And I know you also do a bunch of farmers markets. So you're at Ballard and Well,
and Wallingford, Madrona, and Snohomish this year.
interesting. So how, I know the market game is very, I keep saying interesting, but it is because like it's such a challenge to just get there and then also set up and everything. Like, how has the market experience been for you with dog treats? I mean, it's it's awesome being a side vendor to you because I get the perks, but
Yeah.
your experience, like how is that? How did that start? Like, how is it going with that?
Yeah, yeah. So it took me, I only started in the farmers markets in 2019. I had heard horror stories saying it's really hard to get in, like just like not horror stories with the experience, but just like, so first of all, each of there's there's quite a few different associations. So the Seattle Farmers Market Association, who's the one that manages Ballard, Madrona, and Wallingford. And I actually got into Wallingford in 2019.
Okay.
So I kind of got my foot in the door there, but Ballard is a real big deal. So, first of all, they make sure that the farmers are first. Um, then they have to, you have to, so basically to apply, I had to prove that I did use Washington ingredients. I was made here. Like it's not, that's actually why there's no coffee vendors at any of the farmers markets. It's because none of
Oh,
the coffee is grown here.
wow. I did
And
not know.
so, no, different farmers markets have different requirements. It
Mhm.
just kind of depends on what they decided as their like what their rules are. So they have their different guidelines depending on which association it was. But since I make it here and I get a lot of, like, not all, but a lot of my ingredients locally, or as
Mhm.
many as possible, they're like, yes, you fit our requirements. Um, we'll have you. So I paid, in a way, I felt like I paid my dues in Wallingford and was there a whole summer. And I got to know them. They got to know me. They got to
Mhm.
know that I was reliable. All these things that you want in a vendor and you want in a someone who's coordinating these things. Like we made a relationship there.
Yeah.
So then, pre 3 weeks pre-pandemic, I was at the Ballard Farmers Market in 2020, and then they shut down.
Yeah.
But then when they got back and rolling again, they of course opened it up to the farmers first. So I think they technically opened up end of July or something, like maybe end of June, end of July, something like that. And I got back in, or they invited me back, since they were doing, like, I think they went from over 150 vendors to like 50.
Oh, okay.
So very small. But I got back in their rotation in the end of August. And then now I'm a seasoned winter farmers market vendor. I have my insulated boots and my long puffy jacket and my
Yeah.
long rain jacket and my fluffy leggings and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. But
That's awesome. Well,
um,
I I always love seeing you at the markets. I always love being your vendor buddy because like the amount of dogs that come through these markets is just insane and they're all so cute. And it's just great to be right next to you. I think we did the full moon market together and my ADD for dogs was like off the chain. Um, I
yes.
I know you had talked about pandemic life and just like how your business had, you know, kind of maneuvered through that time. Like, how did the pandemic affect your day-to-day business or just like how you operated?
A lot. Um, a lot, really. Like, honestly, I was a little freaked out when it
Mhm.
first started, and I worked my ass off. I don't think I really took a break for the first 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I decided to do a delivery day. So I decided to do delivery Fridays.
Okay.
So I still have that going. So people can actually order and then choose the Friday delivery, and I will go and deliver all the things. I
Well,
have since changed my um, it's changed it a little bit. So it is $1. The shipping is $1 for me to deliver to Seattle, and
just
it's three. What was that?
just $1. I would make it
Yes.
less.
I mean, it takes me a lot of time, and
Yeah.
my time is worth a lot, especially since
Oh,
I'm the only one doing things. But
I,
I was like, okay,
I
I want to. Yeah, as of right now, it is $1 for
yeah.
in Seattle.
Okay.
It's $3 for outside of Seattle. And
Okay.
so the hope is that I'll get multiple orders and I can do all of them and, between an hour and a half to 3 to 5 hours, depending on what it is. Hopefully some of that, well, it won't make up for all the time there. Like at least I'm not paying $7 to $10 shipping fee as well. So like there's a little bit of trade-off there too.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
then
those are home deliveries. Yeah.
yeah. And so outside of just like home deliveries and like markets here and there, is there anything else new that you had to do or like shift a bit with your business model?
Um, Not as so. Really, it was. I did have to wait until my retailers got back online and opened back up. So that was a little bit rough. That was part of the real big thing of doing all the home deliveries. Um, I guess I don't think the models really changed because I
Mhm.
still do the custom birthday cakes and things and deliver them to the retailers. It's really just like it was just kind of scheduling, and I made a lot of hats during that time too. I watched TV and made hats during that time. So my day-to-day life really changed because orders went really low. Actually, yeah, they kind of dropped off in March. I tried, did my best to keep them up as high as they could. But then once, November and December hit, I was, back running with like a chicken with my
Yeah.
head cut off. Like I was just going, oh, okay, well that's good. The work that I did in order to help people find me. I don't know, what else did I do? I think I tried to beef up some of my like other ways for people to find me, like
Mhm.
Yelp. And I think I did find some other retailers during that time, or like tried to make more connections and things.
Yeah.
And just, it was really just okay. If so actually a really great example is in 2019, I think 75% of my sales were all in person, and in 2020 half my sales were online and half my sales were in person. So while I did get back into doing some in-person things, in July, with Bakers and Makers, thankfully,
Mhm.
um, like I mean, from middle of March through July, I had 0 events, and I just had to beef up the um, people finding me online,
Yeah.
shipping, and that sort of thing. And
Okay.
so, really kind of doing more on my Instagram, and I didn't have any events, so I didn't have easy posts where I'd be like, "Look, I'm here."
No, I think that it's interesting how we have to kind of pivot our models if it's more in person versus like when we can't do in-person events, that we can pivot it to being online based, whether and
Mhm.
to either like even gain that traffic, like running ads or finding like different business approaches, like for like Yelp, for example.
Yeah.
I never thought to like start like a Yelp profile or something like that to get people to come, but it sounds like it helped in a bit, for at least like exposure purposes.
Yeah, it was really just exposure mainly. And then of course some of the event companies did the virtual events, and so being and promoting for those things. And I mean, there was a lot of cross promotion going on too. I think that was another big thing, is there was just like, especially for bakers and makers, like, hey, we're gonna be here,
Yeah.
like come see us, or like look at these cool people who are also doing things and need to get paid.
Yeah.
And just there was a lot of cross promotion, a lot of working together. I think I did a couple collaborations with folks,
Mhm.
just to get more eyeballs on things.
Yep.
Like, look, we're doing things and we're trying to survive. Like, do what you can. Um, yeah, yeah. What
I
are
think
some of the
like
things that you had to do?
I think like the innovation part was like the most fun for me. Like for example, so to your point, I thought that I would have to stay within the plant realm, right? So
Mhm.
live long and plant, you expect plants there, but I have such a diverse product line that includes like candles and home accessories that complement plants, or like the candles have seed paper. And so to your point of like kind of expanding outside of your like little bubble and cross pollinating with other, like doing events with you, at the Bakers and Makers. Like at first I thought, oh crap, like I probably shouldn't be here because I'm not a baker or like I don't have food, but it actually worked out because I think people are just looking for that connectivity, but people are also looking for ways to support other makers regardless of whether it's in like the baking realm or the maker realm. And so like that was something that I did, but also expanding online to different platforms. So like not only my website, but I have my Etsy account and I have like 1-800-Flowers and working on Amazon Handmade right now. It's just like finding different places to expose yourself, I think has been kind of fun and exciting. It's also nerve-wracking because you're like, oh crap, like what if it doesn't work out? Or like reaching out to retailers and getting maybe one response out of 20. Like that is the reality, I think, of being a small business owner, is that it's not it's not like this grand life that we envision like at the end goal, right? It's like all this little work that we have to do in between and the multiple hats that we have to wear to get to that end goal. And I think I saw something that like Brooke had posted from Reverie Inspired Co. That it was just like, there's so many different things, or even Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline, that you had posted about just like the exhaustion that we feel, or the like mental capacity maxed outness. I don't know how I got on this tangent, but I think just like the insight into a small business owner, I think that people outside of this realm don't even realize that we have to go through. I don't know if that's the same thing that
Oh no, actually going back to pandemic life, the other thing that changed and that was so helpful was I have a friend, Amy, who has a business called Emerge Thriving, and so she is actually working with health practitioners of all types, and then trying to get them to trying to have a platform so that it can be an easy to entry. Anyway, she's lovely, and I met her at one of the Greater Seattle SCORE classes, and we got along and chatted. So we actually chatted about every other week during the pandemic. And just sometimes it was business related, other times it was completely not business related, but we checked in and had like little, hour-ish conversations every other week. And then on the opposite week, I had actually been chatting previously with Erica with Rowan Vitality, a beauty company, or like a health beauty company. And we had been getting together for coffee, but since we could no longer get together for coffee, we started chatting online. And we had actually, right before the pandemic, it also invited Freya because she had met her in a different event and I had met her at an event. And like, well, let's all three just chat because we all want the same things. And so we would chat business ideas, like what are you doing? What do you feel like's working? Or what is like, what else can we try? Like, what's something that I could try that I haven't thought of yet? And just kind of bouncing off ideas, because it's not even just chatting about the struggles that you're going through or not going through, or some of the wins that you're going through can help have ideas. Like really, ideas is it. Yeah.
I wholeheartly like concur with what you just said. I think just chatting with people, regardless of what industry they're in, about, what are you doing, or where are you trying to find things, and resources. It's so helpful. Like, I think that's one thing the pandemic has taught us or done for us, is bring people together, even outside of our states or our countries. Like, part of this Gems accountability pod. And I find that being on there every other week and just like having these Zoom meetings is so beneficial. And like, there's someone from Paris and there's someone from like the East Coast, and we're all just trying to like survive and thrive out there. And just having like these even like one-off threads, like I'll text you sometimes, or I'll like DM you sometimes, like, hey, are you doing this market? Hey, what are your thoughts about this market? Because I know you, having over 7 years of experience now, you have so much knowledge of not only like the markets to go to, but like the thought process, or like, is this worth it? Or, you know, what's the foot traffic there? And those kind of questions. So it's really beneficial for people to start creating those connections and those relationships, to your point.
Yeah, it's been difficult, but I've also felt like you said, felt very blessed to be able to make these more of these connections, and you know, on one hand, have time to chat with people and to get to know like their business or like their ideas, and be like, great, that sounds great in that perspective, but if I tweak it a little bit, maybe I can do the same thing just a little differently. Or you know, just yeah, I think, you know, there was also a few, I don't know if they were podcasts or they were just like all of the event spaces tried to do different things to make it work.
Oh,
And yeah, like, yeah.
Going back to like wearing a bunch of hats, I know that as small business owners, we wear all the hats, right? But is there like one hat or segment of your business that you absolutely love doing every day, you would never give it up? And then what's one hat that you would maybe pass on to like a freelancer or like an agency to help you out with?
Yeah, well, I do love doing the events to meet all the dogs. Like that is being the treat lady
Yes.
is really fun to meet all the dogs. It does get very draining because you're there an hour before and a half an hour after for setup and takedown.
Yeah.
So it's not just during the event that you have to be on,
Mm-hmm.
but like that is just a lot of fun. Like meeting the dogs and interacting and making the cakes. Actually, making the cakes is a lot of fun too. So people are like, "Can you do this thing?" And like I did a little Harry Potter cake that, again, my drying, luckily, frosting has limits that doesn't require as good of drawing as, because I'm not a great artist in that respect, but I can do things with frosting.
Nice.
You know, just getting, you know, requests, but like, hey, I want this thing, like, can you do this? I was like, yeah, let's try it. Or let me do a little doodle and see what you think. Like, I'm not a great artist, but I will do my best and I will make it look as nice as possible. And you know, for that, it's for the people, because the dogs don't care if the cake is pink or green or yellow.
Yeah.
But you know, that part's for the humans, and we want to make it fun and pretty, but also good for the dogs. And so making the cakes and getting to meet the dogs at events are one of the best things. And I've gotten used to the social media. It's a lot, but I've gotten used to it. I think I've gotten compliments, so I feel pretty good about it too. I
Be as candid as you want,
no.
or
Yeah, for the things that I really don't like, I mean, email. There's just so many emails, and I right now I have like a list of emails that I have to go back to that are event request or like opportunities. I'm like, I don't have time to figure out what events I can do. My calendar is so busy, and like I've been really busy lately. You know, I've got to find some time to get through those emails, and I will. It'll be fine.
yes.
And then, you know, baking days are a lot of physical labor, so it would be good to have some help with. And I'm looking probably to get some help. And I was trying to think how to do it because I rent a kitchen. I was like, well, maybe what I have to do is get a person who could be there on the same time as me, and then we have give two people for the same, you know, a shorter time limit, and that might work. So I was thinking that might be the way to do it. Like I've been trying to think about, like, I don't really want to just have one person in the kitchen that I'm renting and be like freak out because there's other people there, and like I don't know. I've gotten used to the situation and figuring things out, and it works. But like, how do you translate that to someone else doing it for you? Like that's the thing that you have to kind of figure out too.
Yeah, there's certain aspects of the business that you want to like hold close to you because there's so much technicality involved, or it's like only things that are in your brain that you have to execute versus somebody else. but like slowly relinquishing some of that control, I think is totally beneficial in the long run. Like for me, the one thing that was driving me crazy was social media. And so at some point I was like, screw it, I'm just going to pay someone to help me run it, and I'll just help create content and, you know, themes or whatever. But when I first started to kind of like let go of that, I freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, like what if it's not on brand? What if they don't get what I'm trying to say? And then at some point I was like, F it, like as long as they capture the like essence of, you know, what live long and plant is, and like the fun and the vibrant and like the colorfulness of it, that it slowly kind of relinquishes, and you get comfortable with that person too. And so just like having some grace with them, but also like working with that person to make sure they do it right the first time is really helpful. And that's like just things that I've learned from kind of giving other people tasks. Like I have a virtual assistant now because I can't answer all these emails and like customer inquiries, and so if they're not talking to me, at least the person they're talking to has some kind of foundation of what the brand is. But it is a lot of like hand holding, and then kind of like, okay, like baby, you can go and kind of like do your thing, but I still want to watch you, but like kind of stuff. But I'm sure you'll get there, and your business has grown so much in the last, you know, 7 years, and having a baker, like a sous chef or somebody to like
that would be good.
So beneficial for you.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, and so thinking about it, I do have a virtual assistant as well, and she manages all my retailers. So she will reach out to my retailers and be like, "Hey, do you need more product?" Some of the ones that don't carry anything, like she'll just reach out and say if there's anything they need, or if they'd like to maybe carry things. You know, she's the one who initiates conversations with them, which is really great, because then I get an email saying, "Oh, look, this company would like more," and I have had to do nothing for it, so that's great. And I really appreciate all of that she's done for that. And then she also does a lot of research for me too, so whether looking for businesses to reach out to, or I had her find an attorney so I could get some contracts, that sort of thing, like all those things that you just don't have time for, that are important. Just the little things that I haven't had to think about for a little while, which is great.
There's a lot that encompasses running a business like that I wouldn't have thought about, like creating graphics. Who would have thought that I would have to like create graphics? Thank goodness for programs like Canva, where you can have somebody, or my virtual assistant and social media coordinator will help me create those graphics. Or like creating a wholesale catalog. I was like, okay, I've seen them before because I work in the like e-commerce CPG world, but actually creating a wholesale catalog for my company, I was like, I don't even know where to start. So using or having my virtual assistant kind of create the whole thing, research what competitive companies do and what they look like. And then for creating a catalog, it was so helpful. Other things that my VA does, she'll write a lot of emails, you know, like for the podcast, having her reach out to all of the guest speakers and, you know, here's what I need your help with, or reaching out to like other customers with their issues. It's my dream creating graphics.
We should be in touch. We should be in touch. I've done pretty good with photos, but graphics are another story. Let's be in touch.
See, I love this podcast so much. I love that this podcast allows us to connect with like our followers, but also like talk to people through these chats. I think we learn a lot, especially Tiffany. She's so supportive. Thank you, Tiffany, for being on all of our different like endeavors, and just appreciate you. Shout out to Tiffany. Just thanks, like Tiffany. That what's like something that in your business you do now you would have never thought that you would have done like throughout this business journey? I know that's kind of like
there's a lot. I mean, so I didn't, so I did want to have some non-perishable items. So I'm very happy that at least two of those non-perishable items are the human hats and the dog hats. They've worked out really well.
Stickers.
I mean, that was actually a really big thing that I thought, as I was getting started, I was like, you know, and since I was going to just very few events and trying to figure out how it worked, and like I was making more products than I needed to at the time. So I was like, well, how do I have non-perishable products? Because that is, perishable products are more challenging than non-perishable ones. We have similar, we have space issues and that sort of thing. The same as non-perishable, but they have different requirements too. So like, I'm glad I finally figured something out. Actually, pretty early on, I was like, I need to have some non-perishable items too. Like I got the stickers and the bandanas and the hats now. Something I never thought. I don't know. I'm still trying to decide which direction that'll be going, because I mean, there's still a possibility I could get my own shop or not, like that. But there's a lot of implications. Like then I probably won't do events, or I'll do very few events, because when you have a place, you need to be there.
Yeah.
People appreciate when you're there. But I don't know. Like right now, I'm kind of deciding which directions that will be most beneficial.
Yeah.
I probably didn't realize, like, I don't know. What didn't I expect?
I think I'll give you an example. For me, like I didn't realize so I started with like the plant gift box, right? And that was like my bread and butter online. It's my bestseller. At the markets, it does not sell. And I was like, what the heck? Like, why does this shit not sell in person?
Yeah.
And I think it's because like a gift box online, you don't have to curate it. It's like there in front of you. Everything's in there. You can choose what add-on you want to include. And like, it's an easy, like, here's my message, send. In person, there's like too much stuff almost in that box for a person to visually and like tangibly take in. And so having the products laid out separately instead. So like the misters, I'm going to have soaps pretty soon, like just like little things, and laying it out individually, people can comprehend, versus like a gift box. So that's something that I never considered, because my first show that I did, I had those gift boxes and I think like one sold because it was Christmas time.
Right.
But my individual stuff, like the succulents or the candles, those things sold. And so that's something that I like never would have thought. And so that's why I had to pivot my business in person for the markets differently than how I strategized online. That's like an example I have.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Like knowing the differences between what you offer online versus what you offer in person is definitely a thing, because I didn't have a sampler pack right away, but I did create one so that I could have it online, and I've started to bring it to some markets depending on my time availability. Because it's one more thing to bring. I mean, so as I was getting started, I did chat with a mentor at SCORE and it wasn't as helpful as I was hoping. Let's just say that. It was good, but one of the things I did take from it was, okay, you're starting your venture. Make sure you have between 3 and 6 products. You don't want more than that. Like really, you do, and I agree. You do not want more than that, because that storage. Remember we talked about storage.
Yes.
Also, like creating, because if I had more products, I would have to make sure I had them on hand as well. And the other thing you don't want to do is run out. Like you don't want to run out of one type of product or another. And because I only do, 3, right now I'm doing about 3 8-hour baking days for the bacon bites and molasses and oats and the cannoli shells. And then I do another, 4 to 6 for the cupcakes, like half days for the, so, but you can't really run out. I mean, you could, but that's not a good thing.
No.
And so there are some days where I have to, heads down and bake before I go to farmer's market in the morning because I'm out and this is just what has to happen. So,
No.
figuring out inventory too, like just kind of, managing inventory.
Yeah. The inventory piece is it's a cluster F. I I think for me at least, like, so I order a lot of my candle jars overseas because it's just more profitable that way. However, currently my product has been sitting in a truck on the docks for, I want to say, 3 months now. So, like, just taking some of that stuff into consideration, I would have never thought. And I'm like, oh, great, product is here. Like, I can find it in America. I can find it overseas. No, it's, and I think that's why you're seeing, this is like not really a small business, but that's why you're seeing such high price hikes recently of like everything, because it's just, there's such a backlog of product overseas, even in the States, that people are trying to overcome. That I mean, that's why just the inventory supply is low, demand's high issue. So yeah, just random stuff to think about. I think when you're starting a small business is that whole inventory piece, or like having enough stuff on hand, or maybe I have too much stuff on hand, and that's where the storage space becomes in. I know we're coming up on time, but I do want to ask, like, throughout your journey, your 7 years, which, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think what's the statistic? Most small businesses don't make it past like 3 years or something.
Oh, I believe it. I was, quick side note, in about the year 2.5, I had not found other business owners of which to chat with. It was really just me talking at my husband. And that was rough. And I was about to throw in the towel, but then I did meet some people who were, finally I met some more support group, and that helped immensely. But the first 2.5 years was very grueling, very grueling.
I think,
and
like,
I had another full-time job too.
Exactly. You get burnt out too, right? Like, at some point you're juggling your job, you're juggling a business, and you're like, is it worth it? Like, is this all? I have those conversations in my head all the time. Like, is it worth having this business where I can't see the tangible results right away, but you're looking like 5-10 years down the road, right? Whereas with our jobs, you can see the results in your paycheck every month or every other week or whatever. I wanted to throw in the towel so many times, but like, I think to your point of having that support system, it is immensely powerful to make sure to ingrain yourself, whether it's like a regional thing, or whether it's like, a product category thing. Thank you, Jacqueline. But you really having to find a home for yourself is like, I want to say it's like one of the most important things of having a business. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So yes, in the 7 years that you've had, what's like a piece of advice that you can give small business owners? I want to say both small business owners starting out, like just getting their license or getting their first product made, but also, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's like in the fight right now, in the hunt?
The first one is, remember to celebrate every win. Yes. It can really, especially those starting out, if you get an order, you go over there and do your happy dance and have fun and just be like, yes. I mean, the happy dances now are much shorter for me, but I do still, you have to celebrate this wins, no matter how small, no matter how big. It's required, like, I don't to keep on going and to keep being motivated to do more. You just have to. It's like celebrating the small wins is a big one. And I don't know, I'm also struggling a little bit, like, I'm so busy baking and eventing and don't have all the energy to hang out with Cora as much. Like, we still have our daily walks and things, but like, doing hikes and making plans to go camping and that sort of thing is a lot of extra work. So you know, I don't know. I'm also, you know, part of what I didn't like about the other job was I, you know, spent so much time traveling and I was there and I had a lunch break, but I didn't get to see Cora during that lunch break. And then I worked and traveled back and I was like, oh, I never get to see Cora, but I also got the weekends, just to be honest here. You know, and I think the other one is you are not your business. The other thing I've really been trying to wrap my brain around completely is I am not Puddles Barkery. If Puddles fails or I decide that it's not the right thing to do, it's not that I fail. Like it's that it's separate than me. Like I am a face of Puddles and I am a representative of Puddles. And part of the reason people like Puddles is because, you know, I got a comment saying, oh, a very lovely young lady was chatting with me and like we had a great conversation and I bought some treats and my dogs loved them. Like that's part of it.
Yeah.
But you are not your business, and celebrate all the wins.
Love that. I think that that's a reminder for myself as well. Like I am not my business, even though my face is on the freaking profile icon. It's important to know that like it does not, like, you are not that identity, I guess, almost. Like it doesn't define you. It is like a business endeavor that you started and created. It's your baby. But at the end of the day, like you are your own individual and you know, you can disconnect. Like it's okay to disconnect. And I have to listen to that piece of advice as well. So I appreciate you saying that because I don't think that small business owners really do that very often because they're in it.
I mean, it's good to be part of your brand, but just remember you're just part of it. It is not you. Yeah. And that, you know, is, so when you get those failures or someone's unhappy with their product or, you know, whatever, if something bad happens or you have to say, well, that was a great run, but this is it now. It's not a reflection of you. It was a part of you and it will always be a part of you, but it is not you. And that is, yeah.
No, that's great. I thank you for saying that. I appreciate your like feedback and just like insightness. To wrap up, you know, here's something I forgot to ask that I need to ask everybody. What is one awesome sauce moment that you've had in your business?
Oh, that's right. I was thinking about this. I don't know. There's been a lot. I probably the most awesome sauce thing is, well, getting the feedback, getting the people being like, I love your treats. My dog loves your treats. Yeah. Or having that the owner's like, oh, my dog's really picky. And then I give him a treat and he's like, oh, yes, I would like that. And like, just to be like, to have the people who are like, my dog's so picky, I don't want to try. It's like, well, just try and we'll see. And to have them like it, or to have like, and honestly, to see the happy faces. Because like when you see that dog be like, I'm sure I'll try it. And then they're like, yes, I would like it. And then you see their people be like, oh my gosh, he likes it. Oh, good. Like, this is great. Like, this is such a happy day because we found something that you like. And yeah, and then just, you know, having people enjoy the cakes. Or another really quick story. I know we're running a little over, but a lady sent me a video of her dog eating a cake. And the best part wasn't the dog eating the cake, but the best part was, she's like, my mom absolutely enjoyed it. So this lady gave the dog the cake and the dog like started licking it a little bit and then he went chomp, chomp, chomp. And you hear this lady in the background going, oh, look at that. Oh, like that's what Puddles is all about. It's about giving joy to you and, you know, letting you watch your dog have so much fun. Like, I think that's the awesome sauce moments for Puddles.
It's so like, not only does the dog get to enjoy it, but like the human gets to enjoy it. It's interactive, fun way to connect with your dog and connect with people. So I love that. Where are you going to be next so that people can find you? Like, where can we find you?
Yes. So, like I said, Wallingford, Snohomish, Madrona, and Ballard on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday or Sundays. I'm going to be at the Bakers and Makers Against Racism this Saturday at the Sloop Tavern in Ballard, and I'll be at Wallingford and Snohomish this week. Next week, I'll be back at Madrona, and I'll be me or someone else will be at Ballard both the next 2 Sundays too. So those are the next ones. But I always have everything on my website because I do a lot of events.
You ship your products too, which is awesome.
Yes, I ship all of the products. I'm working on getting the cakes to ship as well, like with the frosting on the side. But I haven't had. I've had someone try it because she lives just on the other side of the Sound, and I've shipped it to her a couple times. So we have a couple things, but you have a surprise for me on Saturday. Ooh, yay!
You have to let me know what it is because I won't be there, unfortunately. But
okay.
Yeah. But no, anyways, I really appreciate you being here, Kari. I always appreciate your friendship and just like the insightfulness and just the experience that you have. So I know the community appreciates you as well. Thank you so much for being here. It was a lot of fun talking to you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed all your questions. Some of them were a little stumping, but also like we got through it. But no, thank you. I really appreciate you doing this, and like I find so much joy in your podcast and being like, look at these amazing people who are making it work and who are doing what they enjoy, because you can't fake that passion. Like I think that's the other thing about being a small business owner is you can't fake that passion. You either have it or you don't. And that passion is what drives people to you and to your booth, whether they like plants or not, or whether they have a dog or not. Like I've had enough people who are either crocheters that see me crocheting or knitting or whatever. And then, or just like my presence. And they're like, oh, I just thought you looked really, you were just so happy to be here. I was like, appreciate it. Like, I don't have a dog, but I'll let you know if I find some people who do. I was like, great.
Oh,
We can't fake that passion, but we have it. And that is what energizes me, is everybody's passion and everybody's like conviction about just their joy behind their business and what they're trying to do. And it's hard, but it's the joy and the passion behind it.
It is. Oh,
yeah, thank you.
Yay. Well, thank you all for joining our podcast today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you all have a beautiful day.
Yes. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.